Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? It's been a while since I've made a video. Today is now April the 20th. Happy 420 to the people that actually partake in those festivities. It's April 20th, Friday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And Friday, usually, normal people go out and they celebrate the end of the work week, right? Where if you're working a Monday to Friday kind of job that you have there, right? But myself, trading is kind of a 24/7 job. Yesterday, I actually took Thursday off yesterday, okay? I took Thursday off and, well, I come back to an actual bull run. I kind of just sat around all day with my dog and, just watched Netflix a little bit there and that's kind of it. I literally just hung out with Luna and I watched Netflix all day and I didn't even check the price of Bitcoin and I didn't check the price of any coins whatsoever. I actually turned off all of my alerts because sometimes you got to give yourself a day off, right? It's just kind of how it is. So I come back to Bitcoin today around 4 p.m. Yeah, around 4 p.m. and I see, wow, we actually hit target, which is pretty good. So I want to make a very funny observation first of all, okay? I'm going to show you guys this right here. So I wanted to show you guys this, these phenomenons that can actually occur in the market sometimes, and when you catch them, they're kind of cool. I personally didn't catch it, but I'm sure a lot of people did, because that's why there's a long wick. So I'm talking about EOS, and this is on a 1 minute time frame, okay? Check out what happened. It fell from $1.12 all the way to $9.88 in the course of 1 minute. Isn't that kind of crazy? That's so crazy, right? Like 1 minute. That's what actually ended up happening over there, okay? So I want to explain to you guys how a flash crash works. I was actually doing the calculations. I did it all already on a spreadsheet. And the flash crash happened from $1.12. You guys can kind of see the high right there, right? Which was $1.12 to the low of $9.88. If this had actually reached $9.40, there would have been a cascade of stop losses and liquidations from margin accounts, and there would have been an actual flash crash to possibly, oh, geez, I'm guessing to like $2, $3. That's what would have happened. A flash crash like the one over here, right? Do you guys remember this one that happened? That was kind of cool. What happened over here, where it fell from $10.66 all the way to $3. That was a great flash crash. I didn't catch any. I've never caught one flash crash yet. The day that you catch a flash crash, right? That will be the actual day. So just to let you guys know right now on EOS, there's a large hanging man candle. I know you guys are not here for EOS, but I'm going to talk about how flash crashes work, okay? Because they're very important to understand. So it happens because of two reasons, flash crashes, right? First of all, a whale decides to dump on the market. Okay, he dumps on the market to a price that is low enough. Now, once the price is actually low enough, right, it first of all triggers margin accounts. Margin accounts will actually get liquidated because let's face it, a lot of people actually end up playing their entire position. And if they play their entire principal, their entire equity, whatever they have online. So because they're playing their entire bank roll, the price would have actually been $9.40, roughly around there. Okay. And so because they're playing their entire bankroll, there's obviously a margin call, right? Margin call usually means that's where you break even, but Bitfinex actually does, I believe, about 33% of your position size left, right? Depending on if you play all of it. So once you get margin called, they like liquidate your position. Now you have to remember how you close a long position. The way that you close a long position is obviously by selling, right? Is by selling. So if you actually end up having to sell because you are now in a margin call where you're getting liquidated, then you're forced to sell your position, or Bitfinex will actually do that automatically for you, right? So because they're doing it automatically for you, sometimes when the drop is hard enough and this whale actually decides to tank the market, what happens is there's not enough liquidity. There's not enough liquidity in the order books for you to actually fill. And all of these people that are actually getting stopped out, right? Or getting liquidated, keep in mind that there's going to be a queue of people, a queue. So if there's 200 people that needs to close their long positions by selling, Well, those 200 people are in a line, right? They're in a line, like think of an actual line to start selling. But because there's very little liquidity, they're basically they're basically trying to catch a selling their sorry, closing their long position by selling it, but they're trying to catch the liquidity as it keeps going down and down and down and down and down. So, and the people that are getting stopped out because they've gone long, they're also in the same queue or line as these people who are getting liquidated, right? So imagine if there's 1,000 people, just hypothetically speaking, that all need to close their long position by selling, right? But because these people are all cascading, and yeah, they're all cascading, and there's not enough liquidity in the actual order book, then what actually ends up happening is this is how these flash crashes work. So if we actually got to, my tag is getting me, I got to cut off this tag on my jacket. It's a fairly newer jacket. Sorry, my tag is making my neck kind of itchy there. Okay, so if we actually reached 940, there would have been a massive sell-off and we could have got to like the $3 range. So I just want to speak very quickly about how flash crashes work. And EOS actually was almost close to there. It would have been very exciting because I would have been one of the extremely, extremely excited people to actually try to catch it because I would have been ready this time. I think I would have been ready for sure. So let's talk about Bitcoin now and where it is trending. But first of all, let's go with CoinMarketCap and see how this is looking so far on the daily. So CoinMarketCap, guys, congratulations. We've officially broken well above 350 billion. We're now at 386 billion dollars. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Green all across the board. Okay, did Verge end up recovering? Verge. Okay, I'm sorry for yelling there, but it is so funny to me. I hate Verge because of the community. I will never buy another Verge coin again. Okay, when you talk about Verge in a negative light, they send a mob after you. I kid you not. Everybody who invests in Verge, it's as if they're all thinking that they're going to be able to afford Lambos because they put all their eggs in one basket, okay? You guys remember my video that I made, right? Where I was actually going to create a tutorial video on how to use Verge currency to use it at their new partnership site. Partnership site? Partnership site? Right? So anyways, yeah, it's horrible. When you see every coin that's green across the board, but you're still seeing Verge downtrend, like guys, look at the graphs of everything, okay? Uptrend, 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 uptrend. Then you guys take a look at Verge on the 7 day. It didn't even budge, even though Bitcoin rallied like $800 in the past 24 hours or something, okay? So market cap right now, it is at $386 billion. Phenomenal. Phenomenal, guys. Historical data, we see that it has severely and substantially picked up in 24-hour volume. Now, it was very indicative that this was going to pick up. 5.1, 5.2, 5.6, 6.9, 6.6, 7.0. So it was very indicative that the volume was going to be heavy and it was going to slowly pick up over time. We have to assume if the moving average of a volume is steadily rising, we have to assume that the market is getting very, very interested in it. Now, let's catch everybody up with my technical analysis from a few days ago and what I was talking about with Bitcoin here, okay? So what I was talking about with Bitcoin is simple. I'm going to go to my blog. Okay, I'm going to go to my blog right here. I was talking about how if in this count, I had two counts, right? I had two counts. It was a super duper detailed count, okay? I assumed that 9,000 was basically going to be the lower barrier that we were going to hit. What do we hit today so far? I'll have to check that in a few minutes there. Actually, I'm going to check it now. We hit $8,937. So my target was completely nailed on the nose. Since we hit wave 3 extension, $1.61, or sorry, 161.8 extension, we assume that wave 5 can hit a psychological range to 261.8, which is 9,000 to 9,300. So there were two cases, okay? One it was my main count which got invalidated, where we were going to fall between 7,400 and 7,676.50 there, right? Now the main count is validated if 7,800 range is broken, and then we'll see those lower range. And I also provided you guys with a very detailed Elliott wave count that went something like that, okay? This is a hard resistance zone due to the massive resistance formed during December 17. The interim high of 84.58 right there, all right? So 84.58. We got to remember that first of all. And we say that this target hit 161.8, which is extensions from waves 1, 2. Now, the alternate count said that we are done retracing and have hit only 236 and the 382 fib region, which would imply an incredibly bullish market. It happens between 5 to 12% of the time, right? So that's very important to understand. And since wave 3 hit extension 161.8, we can assume that wave 5 can hit a psychological range to 261.8, which is between 9,000, right? A psychological range to the 261.8, which was between $9,000 to $9,300, guys. So this technical analysis has two counts. Basically, you got to remember, the guys, that this count was validated simply by a break above 84.58. So you guys got to think about how trading is simply a game of probability. And because there's a game of probability that you're playing, what you got to understand is you need to know what to do when these things happen. So we try to account for every possible situation. A lot of people have said naively to me, because they're mostly amateurs, I'm sure, which I don't mind at all that they're saying that, but I just want to correct all those people that are saying that to me, where they're saying, oh yeah, you're just going to keep throwing out different scenarios, and eventually you're going to be right, right? Which is kind of true. But the reason why we do this is because we need to account for all possible circumstances, right? And when these possible circumstances actually do happen, we know how to react, and we know how to behave, and we know how to time our entries for these things that do happen. So it's kind of just trying to accommodate for it's just trying to accommodate for everything that could happen. So when it actually does happen, there's no surprises at all, right? Excuse me there. So yeah, where were we, right? Okay, so there we go. So this count actually happened easily, guys. And this target was dead on. Or sorry, this one right here happened, and it was dead on. There's not much else to say. So in scenario 1, you would have basically there's a lot of risk to enter right there, right? Because I personally don't like entering and accumulating in a place where there's uncertainty. Scenario 1 was it simply fell to 7,400 to 7,650, then you accumulate in there. Scenario 2, it didn't fall to those regions, but you just buy it on the breakout. It's a win-win situation. And this is how I personally trade. This is how I've made a very good amount, in trading as well. Call that bragging if you want to. Call that, just accounting for every situation and you'll get it right. Whatever. It's pretty stupid that people are thinking that I'm just guessing scenarios, right? It's not true at all. So anyways, let's get into Bitcoin now and see. Okay, let's finally take a look at Bitcoin. So the first thing that I'm going to do with Bitcoin right here is go to a daily chart, actually a 4-hour chart, and let's make sure that we are actually getting all these points. What we're going to do is actually draw a resistance that's touching every single one of these lines right here. So now that it's intersecting every single line right here, right? We see it touching here. We see it also just grazing right there as well, right? We can probably draw it a little bit better over here. Just kind of grazing right here. And this is actually on a log scale, okay? What we're noticing right off of the hop is that pretty much all 5 waves are in right now, okay? This is a very bullish count. I need to be very clear about that, okay, guys? So what we want to do with Bitcoin is first of all, let's talk about the daily chart and how we close. We close with a massive candle right here. And there's no doubt in my mind that, let's say we call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're actually going to redraw our count right over here, right? We're going to get my toolbar up here first of all, and we're going to talk about this specific structure right here where there's 5 coming downward. Actually, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So I should probably keep it consistent with the way that I've had it in my other ones. So I'm probably going to call this one now 1, 2, 3, and there will be a 4 somewhere, I'm guessing, in these particular regions over here, okay? 4, and there's going to be a fifth wave going up there like that, okay? So this seems to make a lot more sense now, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? Or if this was not the actual count right here, then this one right here is the count, right? Because I have alternate counts. So let's say that we actually count this right here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This actually tends to make a lot of sense as well from an Elliott wave perspective. So let's get my counts in here like that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this seems to make a lot of sense as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I think my original count was actually this. I'm just kind of backtracking right now because I'm unsure. Yeah, I think it was like that actually, which seems to make a lot more sense here in retrospect than in hindsight. Perhaps it was like that, right? 1, 2, no, right? 1, 2, no, subways 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could have been like that as well, where we end up getting 5 subwaves in here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this was the fifth one up there. Let's make this a minuet scale, no waves. This seems to make a lot more sense now, doesn't it? Yes, it absolutely does, okay? So right now, if this were the actual count, all right, we're just going to explore some scenarios with different counts to see what makes sense. So as an Elliott wavetician or Elliottician, right, what we try to do is see what makes the most sense. Now, does this make sense right here as this possible count where we get our subwaves 1, right, subwaves 2 right here, then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 like that? Does that seem to make sense? Yeah, definitely does make sense. So now what we got to do, guys, I think we're going to end up going sideways for a little bit, to be quite honest, okay? We're going to end up going sideways for a little bit simply because you guys got to remember that once we break a major resistance like this one right there, we have to break it hard enough for actually for us to also bounce off of it. So in my personal opinion, what I think is going to happen now that we've hit some major targets is, let's just go to a yellow line here. Now that we've bounced off of there like that, sorry, now that we've broken past the target, I firmly believe that we actually need to bounce off of it as well, right? So the last thing we want to do is fall back into these regions. And I mentioned that we would hit somewhere between $8,000 or $9,000 and about 93.55. And we hit actually 89.37, which is $63 off. I'd still call that a win-win scenario, guys. It's pretty good technical analysis in terms of accuracy there, I would say. It's definitely a win-win. So I do believe, guys, we're going to end up trending almost sideways up until May now. Sorry to say that, guys, but now that we've officially broken this resistance right here, it now needs to become a hard support. And I think that the place that you guys should have entered, if you followed my technical analysis, was simple. The place to have entered was a break above the 88.40 or the 84.50 range. And because we broke above 84.50 range, right? The reason why it was wise to enter there is because you wanted to rally. You wanted to rally and think of a group effort that finally beats this high right here, right? And if you pooled in the money, and I think a lot of the bulls and the smart money realized that they made a conscious effort together to finally break this massive resistance, right? And they made a conscious effort to break it, and surely enough, we actually ended up breaking it. Now, this fifth wave may not be done yet, okay? Just to be very clear, because if I were to break this down further, if this was 1, 2, this could be 3 right there, and that could be 4, and we could still get another touch, okay? We can still get an actual another touch to the 9300 range. But if I actually zoom out a little bit right now, what we have to be mindful, or not 93, 92-ish, I would say now, right around this particular range, okay? The reason why we could get another touch is because, well, this right here subdivides only into 3 waves. So if I were to draw my waves in here as well right now, 1, 2, 3, perhaps this is 4, like right around this territory because it overlaps it by just a wick, right? So let's get this into a very small degree, like a minuet there, and I'll show you guys what I mean, okay? So this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could have been very viable as well. And what we see is we only get our subwaves 1. Actually, no, this doesn't make sense either right now that I think about it. 1, 2, 3. Nope, this doesn't make sense either. This seems to be the very fifth wave from my understanding. So I'm going to take that off the table. And what we're already getting on a 4-hour candle is a hanging man candle, right? We saw it parabolically moving up on the daily chart. So close, guys. So close. In a few days, maybe even this range over here, I do believe it's going to trend to somewhere in this region where it's going to stay very bullish between I'm guessing honestly like I'm guessing anywhere between 8,000 to 8,500 if I had to guess right now. This is kind of a very extrapolated prediction on my end right here, but I've got no choice but to assume that we could easily bounce off of the 100 moving average as well, right? Which is around 8,400. So I'm more so guessing a correction between 8,000 and also $8,400. And it's just going to take time to tell. Now, it's going to be validated if we simply just break below this 100 moving average, which is about the 8650 range. If we break below 8650, easily we'll see it hit between these targets of 8,000 to 8,400. Now, 8,000 dollars would be on the very low end where it would end up sideways trending for a while or a very slow sell-off, put it that way, okay? But right now, as it stands, guys, I've been very bullish on Bitcoin for about a week now, if you guys remember. And yeah, actually, ever since this 1 hour candle, I've been bit bullish on Bitcoin for about a week and a half, you can say, right? Where you have other people like, no offense to anybody, but Tony Vase, right? He's been bearish on Bitcoin, like, and he's been comparing it to like 2013 and 2014. You can't really compare Bitcoin to 4 years ago because there wasn't nearly as much adoption. It's not like Bitcoin has a precedent or a history, right? This is not like comparing gold, right? This is not like that at all. It's not like comparing the S&P 500 at all, where it's got a major history. Bitcoin does not have a major history. That is why I'm not going to compare it to 5 years back. It just makes no sense in my eye whatsoever. The market cap was like 1/100th of what it is now, okay? You can't really compare it to 5 years ago, in my opinion. And you cannot just stay bearish on Bitcoin forever. I personally think that Tony Vase is two things. One, a maximalist, where he calls every other coin a crap coin. I don't like that at all. Two, he's always bearish, okay? I've been following him for a while now, and I unfortunately had to unfollow him because he's so bearish. Like when we hit $10,000 and he was calling for a $2,000 scenario, I didn't really like that at all. Instead, we actually ended up getting to 20,000, not 2,000. So, yeah, okay, Tony, we're not going to get to $7,000, okay? We're not going to get to like your $3,000, $4,000 range that you've been predicting for a while now. The people who are still bearish right now, you guys really, 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 really need to get your eyes checked, okay? You need to get your eyes checked because this is a very bullish market that we're in. And the longer that you guys keep waiting for it to hit certain targets right now, if you're waiting for $4,000, good luck, guys. You're going to be waiting for a very long time, okay? So, what we needed to do with conviction was when we got to this range, guys, I've been talking about it for days now about how when these 2 points ended up meeting, we needed to have a big rally right over here, right? When these 2 points ended up meeting, where we had that slope, the resistance, that's now a support, and also the 84.58 range, we need to have a really big boost to not only break out of it, but also have the potential to bounce off of it in the short term. So I don't think there's going to be a big bounce, and I don't think there's going to be one more wave up. I cannot see one more wave up possibly, okay? If we do get one more wave up, I cannot see it getting higher than 8,300 or sorry, 9300 ranges right now. So if you guys are wondering when the chance is to enter, you're too late. You're simply just too late. If you didn't enter when it broke above 84.58, like I've been mentioning for days now, you're simply too late to the party. And unfortunately, you should not be entering any position at all. Now, personally, myself, I didn't play any of these positions because I took Thursday off, like I mentioned, and I come back to like a very bullish market. So it's very unfortunate that this actually happened, but it's okay. I can live with my mistakes, and not mistake, but I can live with my day off. I'm not here to chase money as much as people think. I'm cool with the amount that I make, and I also firmly believe that there's many other opportunities out there already. So you guys got to understand that this region right here is now going to be a very hard support region. This is the interim swing high position, which is around the $9,200. If we get one more wave up, guys, Don't expect it to get higher than 92, 9300 at most, okay? And it's honestly not even worth entering a trade from my perspective, from a risk to reward perspective at all. Not until we actually break some other common numbers right now. So once we correct a little bit, that's when I'll be very interested in entering a long position for Bitcoin. I will definitely start accumulating even more, guys. Or not start, but I will accumulate even more when we dip on here. Now, am I holding a lot of Bitcoin? Yeah, I'm holding quite a bit of Bitcoin. From what price? Very good price, just put it that way. I'm happy with the amount of Bitcoin that I have. I've been accumulating, honestly, I've been accumulating ever since like $6,450. So I got some around this, I got a lot under 7K, just put it that way. So I'm pretty happy right now. But in terms of a day trading position, right, I actually don't have any position at all for Bitcoin for day trading, but investing positions, yeah, I'm pretty happy with Bitcoin as it stands right now. So this is my main count right now, guys. This is my main count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, simply going upwards like that. And I believe that we're going to correct to anywhere between $8,000 to $8,400 ranges. If we don't correct to these ranges right now, a break above $8,937 can simply rally to one of these possible targets up there. Okay. Now, once we hit these targets, if that's a scenario, if there was one more wave going upwards, simply like that, then then we're still going to correct to the same target, unfortunately, which is we're going to retest. We're going to test at least once, guys, this previous resistance that's now a very hard support. So these are my quick thoughts for Bitcoin. I hope you guys have appreciated. If you guys do, I would definitely appreciate an upvote on Steemit. If you guys don't have an account on Steemit yet, just maybe take a second, register an account. It could take up to a week or something like that for you guys to get your account approved there. You guys can simply just go to Steemit and click the upvote button where I think I get like a penny or something. But hey, if I'm getting like $10, $20 a post that I make, which is really rare, I'll be happy with some of the profits that I make there. If you guys definitely want to let me know that I'm doing a fantastic job, you guys are welcome to donate to the cryptocurrency piggy bank there for Luna and I. But if you guys ever do, please don't do anything outrageous. Perhaps you guys can buy me a lunch or a coffee or a bottle of wine. Just think of the gesture, which is much more important than the monetary value that you're donating. Other than that, guys, have yourselves a fantastic day. Thank you very much always for the love and the support that you guys have given me, and have yourselves a great night. Bye now.